So then, okay, let me land the plane here. Like, family's important. Family's the bedrock of society, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Entire talking point, entire talking point, entire talking point. I get it. So, particularly for young people, there are a lot of myths around marriage, around family, around children, which is why we need to dispel them, or we need to provide a reason for this. This is the flaw, I think, one of the major flaws of conservatism over the last couple of decades, is that we have not provided a why. It's been like, shut up and do it because you should do it. No. That's not good enough, especially for young people now who are skeptical of everything. I know, I'm one of them. I'm skeptical of everything. My friends are skeptical of everything. We don't trust the government. We don't trust the corporate America, anything like that. We don't trust any institution. So we need to provide solid reasoning, rationale, plans around why marriage and family should be valuable. And if we do that, we can recreate or begin to recreate a culture of family and marriage that is healthy, particularly for young people. And I think we're on the verge of that. I think this could be a very, very big thing. I think, honestly, we'll have more trouble with young women than young men for a lot of things, but young men still have a lot of issues. And they're still buying into, particularly in the manosphere, red pill space, etc. If you buy into those, you will not have a future defined by American families. But if you do not, and you buy into the family, you'll have a future that is a lot healthier, I think. And if we get young people, if we can persuade young people that the family version of the future is better, you will have ample opportunity. They will have ample opportunity to create a better life for themselves. Because I have never heard a single person in my life say that having a family was something they regret or a mistake. I've heard a lot of people say that, but of the happiest people I know, of the people that I trust to give me a solid answer on this issue, it makes your life a lot better when you put the family at the center of your life. It's worked for my family, personally, my dad, my grandfather, my uncles, the people that I trust. I'm talking about men here, but women as well, who have made a lot of sacrifices, just as men have, for their children, for their families, etc. I grew up in a very nucleic family environment. I was surrounded by not only my immediate family, but my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, friends, etc. And it's a notable difference from people who did not grow up with that. And I think it's important that we talk about it. So the first prong of this that I think would be worthy to explore would be the myth of that marriage, family, kids is a losing proposition for both men and for women. So what we need to do to dispel this narrative, in my opinion, is to, again, go back to values and say that, okay, fine, you want to be free, be a top G, live in a penthouse for the rest of your life, go, sleep with a bunch of dudes, whatever. Not have kids, not have to worry about dropping them off at school, picking them up, all the, things that are required with raising children, sacrifice your time, your income, etc. We need to point people to the higher values of masculinity and higher values of femininity that come with being a parent, with being a married person, a spouse, a husband, or a wife, particularly for Christians. And so a lot of people think that they'll lose something by getting married and having kids and starting a family. And you will. We need to be honest about that. You will. But what we also need to say is that what you will gain is a lot better than what you will lose. That's the key. It's always been the key. And that's not talked about a lot because a lot of discussions are around loss aversion, but also it's like you can gain a lot from doing this too. And I think we really make a mistake in not emphasizing that. And so that would be the first thing, is kind of inverting that narrative of it's a losing proposition for both men and for women. It's not. It's a winning proposition for both. We just need to make the case for it. The second one, this is particularly big, I think, with my generation, especially I hear this all the time from my friends and from other people and from a lot of people, is that families cost too much. Weddings are too expensive, marriages are too expensive, kids are too expensive, etc. And the reality is families cost something, but what are you spending your money on right now? Where are your values at right now? Families do not cost an exorbitant amount in many ways. They do in some ways, but also it's a values question. Where your values are, your money will be also. Jesus says where your heart is, your treasure will be also. So if your current treasure is, I want to go on a vacation every month, I want to, hang out at the bars 3 nights a week, whatever, there your money will go. But If your money says, I want to be a great dad, I want to be a great mom, I want to spend time with my kids, I want to go on a nice vacation once a year, whatever, your money will follow that too. And it's going to go away from those things. And by the way, married men and married women make more and spend less on things that do not matter. They make more money, they make more income, especially men, by the way. Tucker Carlson talks a lot about this too. When you get married, you will find a way to make it work. You will find a way to afford it. Work 2 jobs, do whatever you need to do. Hopefully for not too long, but for a season and a period of time. Make it work. And you will make it work. So the families cost too much narrative is really it's an op, in my opinion. It's a psyop. And I don't think we should buy into it as a serious one. And then the third thing I think is really important and kind of more personal to a lot of people is that it will kill your freedom. Freedom. It's a very abused word in today's culture, if you didn't know that. So freedom is a very personal word for Americans especially. We were built on quote-unquote freedom, they said. But like Pope John Paul II said, it's not the freedom to do what we want, but the freedom to do what we ought. And that's the key. That's the thing that people, I snap my fingers. That's the thing that people miss with this. Freedom without responsibility is not freedom, it's anarchy. But freedom with responsibility, with choice, with saying I'm going to put something above myself, that is actual freedom. It's freedom to do what we ought to do, what we're responsible for. That is the actual liberating thing about this. And so I would recommend that we choose that. And we communicate to young people, especially, that we need to choose that. And I think if we do that, we'll have a lot better hope for where this is all going to go. And the future of the family in America will be much better off. And I hope it is, because families are great. They're really awesome. I want one myself. I know all of my friends basically want one, men and women. But in order to have that future, we have to create that future. Sow the seeds of that future. What you sow, you'll reap. The Bible says that all the time. And it's true. So we need to sow the seed of family, later reap the seed of all the benefits that come with having a family. And there are a lot of them. They aren't talked about that often. And we need to fix that. It's value-oriented people especially.